Okay, so welcome to another episode of the 2K 20% tutorial. This is gonna be the last episode focused on general things in the game. From here on, we'll be focusing on things that are specific to the run. But anyway, this episode's all about combat, with the exception of combat with the warrior. So the first thing we're gonna introduce is the longest unblockable combo. Which I'm gonna perform here, but then I'll also put this combo in the description with all the different inputs, so the keyboard inputs and the controller inputs, just so it's easily there for you to memorize. So this was the longest unblockable combo, and it deals a lot of damage, so it's quite useful. Another thing that's quite useful is this combo, but minus the last hit. And that's because doing this longest unblockable combo produces like a mini cutscene at the end where the prince and the enemy dramatically stand up and they take their time doing it. So we can get rid of that and deal slightly less damage by, instead of pressing Elika on the last hit, we just mash block. So it looks like this. Like that, and then we can continue fighting straight away. Just a general thing regarding combat is you should never block an enemy's hit, so you should never do this. And the reason for that is because the enemies can then activate a bunch of auras and a bunch of QTEs, and you don't want any of that. So see something like this. Whenever an enemy hits you, you always want to parry their hit. And you do that by just pressing block just before they're about to hit you, like that. And then you can also do a counter attack. So right after a parry, you can press an attack and it will always work. You will never be dealt damage if you attack immediately after a combo, or a parry, sorry. Now, one noteworthy thing about combat, which is not actually needed for the run at the moment, but I thought it should be included here anyway, is the fact that when you parry, your following hit does more damage, but only if it's a sword hit. So I can show this off here. If I hit her, you can see I dealt a tiny amount of damage, but then if I let her hit me first, and not like that, if I let her hit me first and parry it, come on, like that, you saw I did a lot more damage. So once again, that's not something you need to know specifically for the run, but I thought it was something worth including here anyway. Now, if you ever have to fight one of these mini enemies, you shouldn't actually fight them properly. You should just throw them off the nearest ledge or into the nearest wall, and that just kills them straight away. And the way you do that is with another combo, so I'll show that off here. You just do this. Once again, I'll put it in the description. And if you ever need to throw the enemy especially far, then you can just use 2 Elika attacks instead of 1, and that will work just as fine. That concludes this episode on the general combat mechanics. Of course, this is not gonna cover everything you need to know about combat, but it goes over the gist of it, and the rest you'll learn from later episodes of the tutorial and just from watching runs. And this is also going to be the last episode on the general things in the game, unless I decide to make more at some point in the future. From the next episode onwards, it's all going to be run-specific things. So the next episode will be on AI Break by Samabam. And yeah, that's the end of this episode.